Hello, this is Lisa Russick and Misty Lord with the podcast We Are All Psychic. And today we have Jennifer Love back finally at last. It's been like months and months and months and months. And I guess since her birthday month. And Jennifer, do you still think we're all psychic?
Yes, so we are all psychic.
Okay, thank you. So, Misty, would you like to introduce our topic today?
Yes, I would love to introduce our topic. We are going to be talking today about past relationships and how they might affect our relationship that we're in right now.
Yes, that's it.
I think that about sums it
Sum
up,
that
right?
up really
Yeah.
nicely. Yes, beautiful.
Yeah,
Jennifer's going to help
absolutely.
us through this because we've all done this, like Misty said when we talked about the topic a moment ago before we started the recording. And we can all relate something if we've been in a relationship and start another relationship, we can relate to this. I can.
Right. And I think it never ends.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think it
I
ever
think you're right.
stops, but it's really like to the degree you allow it to affect your relationship is the key, right? You can either, it either affects it to a great deal or not as much. But we're always going to be affected by our past relationships in a positive or a negative way. But the point is to be aware of it and
Yeah.
learn from your past relationships, right? We always want to learn from our past relationships and move forward with it. But the two things that I was thinking about when we started talking about this was, you know, not allowing the past to damage your relationship that you're in now
Yeah.
is the first thing, right? But you're either being triggered by something or you're not allowing your partner to change and grow. So those are kind of like the two things I think is like key to kind of being haunted by a past relationship that's
You
a
mean your current
problem,
partner,
right?
your current partner can't grow if you can't move on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, if the past relationship is a problem,
Yeah.
then you might not be allowing your partner to grow. So I think we all know what triggers are, but if you don't know what a trigger is or what I'm talking about, a trigger or an emotional trigger, it's, something that kind of sets off a trauma that's happened in your past. It can be like a sound or people or thoughts or smells or a situation that you're in. Um, it's the best way to tell if you're being triggered by something is if your response is disproportionate to the event itself. It's like an overreaction, right? A
Yeah.
normal person would a normal person wouldn't react the way that you're reacting to the same thing.
That's a
Yeah.
good way to
So
look at it. Yeah.
so the little like, phrase is if it's hysterical, it's historical.
I've never heard that. I love it.
I love that.
That's what psychologists say, right? So for example, I wanted to bring an example from my own life. So for example, I was running late to meet my boyfriend for a date one time, and I was so scared and anxious of his reaction to me running late. And I texted him and he said that it was fine. But then when I got there, I burst into tears.
Oh
And
no.
you can say that that's a quite an overreaction, right? Most people would not normally freak out like that because they were late for a date with their boyfriend that they've been on a date with hundreds of times.
Yeah.
So I had to so he held me, calmed me down. It was fine, and then I got to sit there and think about why did I have that such a severe overreaction to being late? It was just such a
Yeah.
weird thing. And I kind of thought back into my past and I realized, it wasn't stress, it wasn't traffic, it was really that I just unearthed a memory of my late father being extremely angry if we were late anywhere. And
Wow.
it was really it was a trigger for me.
Right.
I,
And
I
you didn't
don't like
realize
to
it
be
at the
late.
time?
No, I just don't
Wow.
like to be late. I really don't like to be late. It really stresses me out.
Yeah.
Um, to be late anywhere, really. But to be late for my man was
Yeah.
very stressful
Yeah.
because it was kind of like my dad.
Yeah.
in a weird,
Oh, I didn't think about that.
way
Yeah.
Man,
for me.
It's a man of authority
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
life who you love. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of like an emotional trigger, right? So that's the kind of a way I can explain it. So are there any triggers that you can think of off the top of your head? I mean, I
Oh,
know I've
yeah.
given you a ton of time to think about
Do we
it,
have
but like
time to, how long should we make this podcast? Trigger.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Misty, you want to go
Mhm.
first? Right. Because I could.
Mine is like cleanliness. Like
Mm,
my mom was a clean freak, and that made me a clean freak. And
yeah,
I really had to watch myself because my family, they're not clean freaks, and
yeah. Mhm.
it can be very stressful for me if the dishes are not put in the dishwasher. It makes me anxious
Yeah,
and
stress.
and stressed. If something's not done properly, it makes me stressed. You know,
Mhm.
if things aren't what they're supposed to be, I freak out about that, and I've really had to work on that throughout the years.
Yeah. I can relate to that. It's not my issue. I'm a slob, but
My daughter is the opposite too, so I've
yeah,
really had to work on it. Yeah.
yeah. But my partner Michael is a neat freak, like because I guess his father was OCD.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's an issue.
it
Mhm,
is, especially in
mhm,
relationships.
Especially if your partner is kind of messy,
Yes,
like me.
right, or doesn't really care.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What about you, Lisa?
I guess maybe a trigger is conditional love. Like you have from the past, that I would look at.
Hmm, hmm,
Like you get love if you do this.
hmm,
You get
hmm.
the feeling of love, you get respect if you do this for me that I tell you to do, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So that it's
So
conditional love.
if somebody sets you up like that,
Yeah, or they have conditions and if you don't do them, you're out. Or there's something wrong with you, or you're gonna be yelled at,
Right.
or you're gonna be put down or whatever,
hmm,
conditional
hmm.
love. I mean, I understand
Yeah,
people have boundaries. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like, well, today I love you and yesterday I didn't, but today I do. So, you know,
For me,
yeah, because you did what I asked you to do yesterday, and yesterday you wouldn't do it, so you did it, and now I love you again. Is what I'm used to. So that's a big trigger for me.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I would agree for sure.
yeah.
So, how do we get past these things, right? How do we heal ourselves of these emotional triggers? Um, the first thing is to be aware of it, right? And
Yeah, and
just,
catch it. Ooh, it's hard to
yeah,
catch.
right. Be
That's why I
aware,
asked you if you knew right away that was going on for you, and you didn't. But when I
Mhm.
react, I don't know it until I look at it. I usually find
Sometimes
my
you,
fault, my fault, my fault. That's what I'll say. I'm like, why am I saying that? It's because that's what they always told me. It was always my fault, you know, that things weren't
sometimes you
whatever.
don't know.
Yeah,
Sometimes you don't know it's your insecurity. Like,
right.
maybe you grew up, oh, I just know that love is conditional all the time. And so I'm
It's the
expecting
only
it.
thing I
And so you
knew.
don't
I
even
didn't know there
know.
was another way.
Mhm.
I don't know. I still don't know.
Right.
There's another way.
Yeah, there is. So yeah, but if you know that you're constantly, fighting with your partner or just that you're having these big emotional reactions, you might want to think about like maybe I'm being triggered and like try to identify your top triggers and see if, there might be something underneath that. And, it's okay if you need the help of a therapist to do that because not all of us are totally aware of all of our issues all of the time.
Right.
And so you
Or if
might
they're
need to
even a
dig
psychic or something to work
deeper.
on like pulling some stuff out, psychics can do that
Absolutely.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And there's nothing wrong with getting help from somebody else because we're not always aware of all of our own stuff.
Right.
It's
Right.
totally fine to get help from someone else.
Yeah,
Hey,
it helps a
listeners, I
lot.
called Jennifer Love for a love reading just a week ago, a few days ago.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, getting advice from an
I
intuitive
need
or a
advice.
psychic or seeing
Yeah.
a therapist or even pulling cards on your own might be,
Yeah. I do that a
Yeah.
lot. Sometimes I just can't
sometimes.
interpret them because I'm so,
Yeah, but
my
sometimes you
mindset
can't
isn't
interpret your own
open.
cards. Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
too close to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people can't do that,
Like
especially with
every
love
card is
readings.
hateful and angry.
They
Even the
can't
Ace of
do their
Cups
own.
hates me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, if you've kind of identified the trigger, you could figure it out what it is. You next want to say, where did it come from? What's the story that I'm telling myself all the time? Like, most of the time it is from childhood, right? We've all three of us identified a story in childhood, right, that this trigger came from. So if you are able to identify it, and it usually does come from your childhood, that whatever the story is, from a parent or a caregiver, that this is how it is, but you have to stop and question that. Is that really how it is?
Yeah.
Am I really going to die if I'm not on time somewhere? Or am I going to be like physically harmed or yelled at? Probably
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
You
That's
will
probably
yell
just
at
a
yourself.
story. Yeah, that's a story
Yeah.
I'm telling myself, but it's probably not what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of reprogram your negative beliefs and say, what evidence do I have that that's going to happen?
Just let
That
it go. Yeah.
every time, every time I'm late, is that really what's going to happen? No, I need to like kind of reprogram those thoughts. What's another possible narrative? What's another story I could be telling myself that there's another possibility maybe that could happen? Maybe if I'm late for work, there might be negative consequences. If you're late
Well,
over and
yeah.
over again, maybe
Yeah.
there would be, but probably not. Physical harm is probably not one of them. Maybe you
Right.
get fired, but you're not going to get physically harmed or yelled at. So you might lose out on situations if you're late somewhere, right? If you're late to the movie, you might miss half the movie, right?
Yeah.
You won't know what's going on, but nothing's going to really harm you, right?
Right.
So
Right. Yeah.
there's going to be consequences, for your actions, but you know and then the next thing you want to do after you've kind of like rewritten that story is kind of imagine the future of you as whole, healed, and complete. So, what would I do differently next time? So, like in Misty's case, she might have overreacted to, the dishes in the sink, but maybe next time she might say, family, can you help me do the dishes? Or family, this is how I would like you to do the dishes. Or maybe on Tuesday night, you're going to do the dishes. On Wednesday night, this person's going to do the dishes. So, like, just how would I envision it next time so that I don't have the
you're just
trigger?
envisioning it first. Okay.
Yeah. And
Visualize it.
maybe then,
Work on
maybe
it.
then you make
Pretend, act it out in your
maybe
head.
you make a plan.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not going to work out that way, that your family's going to do the dishes, but
Yeah. It's funny, but yeah.
maybe that won't work out.
It'll calm you down if you just envision it. Maybe it'll happen.
Right. And maybe you envision, okay, that pile of dishes is just going to be there, but I'm just going to take a breath, and I'm going to be calm. It's still going to be there, but I'm going to just breathe through it the next time. I'm not going to react. So whatever it is, how would you like to react? How would you like to behave? I don't need to, have an anxiety attack just because I'm 5 minutes late or 10 minutes late. It's going to be all right. Everything's going to be okay. So that's kind of like those triggers and emotional triggers. Yeah, and how to get past them, how to heal them.
That's really nice.
The other thing, yeah. The other thing was not allowing a partner to change and grow, because that was kind of something that I was thinking about. If you're haunted by the past, it could be because you're just kind of clinging to an ideal or something that's not
reasonable.
Yeah, or just something that you don't want it to change, right? So, for example, like say someone who has always been a pushover is now trying to set boundaries in your relationship.
That's me. Yeah.
Or you're trying to talk about forgiveness with someone who, has made mistakes in the past, but now they're trying to make amends. Or like someone who's attempting to improve their health, but this person has fallen off the wagon somehow. Or like, there's someone who's anxious, but now they're trying to act easygoing. So if your partner is doing something that's like out of character, or they're trying to change who they are or change their behavior, sometimes it feels very uncomfortable, or like, why are you not acting like you? Even though it might be in their best interest to improve their health, or like, I want you to act a certain way. Like it's good to set boundaries, but now you're no longer acting like a pushover, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
It's just that,
It's a codependent kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah, but we kind of judge people for like what they do and what they don't do. And then
Yeah.
then we judge them when they try to do things differently. So it's kind of like a catch 22 sometimes.
Yeah, well, it's
So
hard. The main reason I think we're doing that in relationships anyway, romantic ones, is because the traumas and the triggers, they've been
yeah.
triggered too many times, So
Mhm,
we want to get
mhm.
some control back. And as far as the other
Right.
partner, the one who has to watch that person get the backbone, say, and shove them
Mhm.
or shove them back a few times when they haven't really crossed any lines. They have to be patient and talk with the person instead of getting angry and shoving back or walking away. You have
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
understand where
Yeah.
the person
Yeah.
is coming from. So yeah, that's
Be
totally makes
patient.
sense.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
like I've known people who, like, for
It
example, you
gets
were saying,
complicated.
yeah, like with alcoholism, I've known people in my
Mhm.
family like who were codependent on the alcoholic. And when he got sober, the wife's like, well, you're not the same you. You're not you. I want you back. Why don't you drink?
Yes. Yes.
Go ahead and drink again. I'd rather you drink now, and stuff like that.
Because their whole identity was wrapped around
Yes, the
being the helper,
codependency.
right?
Mhm.
Being the codependent. Yeah. So they didn't have an identity
Yeah.
without that person being an alcoholic. So yeah,
Yes.
the whole dynamic has to change once that
Yeah.
person has stopped drinking.
Big things
And
like
that's
that take a
The
lot of
whole
work to get.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there are little
Exactly.
things with it, like for say it's really hard to explain to someone new in your life, even if it's been, maybe like in my example is I've always been in long relationships. So people who get into a relationship for a year or two and have never been in long relationships, it might be something they don't know, things that people who've been in relationships for 10 plus years that know about, how you handle things and how you don't. Um,
Mm-hmm.
But it's when people are so sure they are right, that's where I think a lot of the trauma and triggers are hidden because they're so sure. So somewhere in that certainty of either partner, any partner, anybody, whoever, they're so sure that they are right. There's probably really something down under there that hurts,
Yeah.
So
That's so true. Yeah. And I think that's true about what you say about people who've been in long term relationships and people who haven't, or they don't remember how to
yeah,
be in a long term relationship because, this like disposable culture that we're in, we've been in, people have these very short relationships, 1 or 2 years, 3 years, and they just churn,
right, right,
um, it's less frequent that people are in very long stretches.
okay,
That's what I see.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, 47, so
Um,
people I know have been at one point had a long term at one point.
right. Yeah.
And the ones who do that in
But
and out thing, the 3 years, they'd been in that relationship and it sucked, or hurt really bad, and they don't want to do it again.
mhm,
It's not worth it.
mhm.
Not even worth the risk
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're all constantly growing and changing as people, but you know, it's hard to think about like if my partner changes, then I might have to work on myself and take responsibility for my own negative behavior and then change along with them. Like
Right.
just like the alcoholic example that you brought up,
Yeah. Yeah.
if that person improves their behavior, then all of a sudden the codependent has to do that same thing and move along, or else they're
Sorry.
going to get
Yeah.
behind
Yeah.
or, or struggle because they don't know how to, live with this new improved
Right.
version of their partner.
Right.
So, or if you're just like comfortable with the way things are and then your partner changes, what happens? And it happens a lot too when people like find spirituality
Yeah.
and
Yeah. You're right.
the partner doesn't,
Yeah.
right? And they're like, you're so weird now. I can't relate to you.
Yeah.
And yeah. And a lot of my clients, I find out my clients, yeah,
My spirituality is not about you, mister.
yeah, yeah. And I think, and I just tell my clients, it's okay to have different spiritual beliefs than your partner, as long as they respect you and
Right.
respect your
Right.
beliefs, it's okay to be
And
different.
you respect theirs.
So yeah, and you respect theirs. Yeah. So yeah, it's just, I just want to emphasize that like getting to know your partner is an ongoing process. You're never done and you're never like okay, I get you now. They're constantly growing and changing, and you're constantly growing and changing. So you should always be getting to know them all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because think about where you've been in the last 3 to 5 years and where you are now. You're different, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's different, even in the smallest, tiniest ways. Some people have gone through big changes and some people have gone through really subtle changes, but you're different. So your partner has changed too. And maybe it's very subtle, but they've definitely grown and changed. I mean, everyone has changed because of just the pandemic alone.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone has changed.
Yeah.
So you need to get to know your partner all over again. And ask questions, like ask them, like, what kind of person do you want to be? Who
What
do
do
you
you do
want
if
to
they don't
be?
answer them? What if they don't like questions and they get frustrated? Some people
Um,
that's a trigger of theirs. They don't like a lot of questions. That's why I had my first husband was like that. He didn't like a lot of questions. So I didn't ask him after a
oh,
while. Should have.
well,
Now I know why he
yeah,
didn't.
I mean,
But
well, like, yeah, I feel like that's more of a communication issue. You have to know like how your partner likes to communicate.
yeah, he didn't
Um,
at all.
and yeah, that's probably a bigger issue in your
Yeah,
relationship
I think
rather
that
than
was the
like
issue in that first
that
one.
might be a bigger
Yeah.
issue. Yeah, I don't know that. But yeah, I mean, maybe that's not the right question to ask. Maybe there's a different kind of question, but like, who you want to be at the end of the year, like, um,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
what what are your interests, like what are your hobbies now, is it different? I mean, I'm sure you kind of, if you feel like you know your partner really well, you know what they're into, but maybe maybe you haven't checked in with your partner for a while and you really
Yeah.
don't know what they're interested in and what they're up to. Maybe every time you get home from work you guys go in separate directions and you really don't even know what they're up to lately, or what podcast are they listening to and what TV shows are they interested in now, and what book are you reading? I have no idea. So, yeah, I mean, I don't even always know what TV show my boyfriend's watching. And sometimes I have to ask him because I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you watching now? I have no idea.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just sometimes it's good to ask those questions and figure out. I mean, I know he plays hockey every Tuesday, but I don't
Yeah.
always know what TV show he's watching this
Right.
time. And,
Yeah. Just curious.
it changes. Yeah,
Shows that
it
you're
just changes.
interested too. Yeah. And if you are,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe he doesn't know the big question, like who do you want to be in
Yeah.
2023? But like, yeah, what TV show are you watching is a pretty innocent question that I think most people are cool to answer.
Yeah.
what, what, what,
Gandalf's.
what podcast you listening to now, or
They're listening to We're All
uh,
Psychic, and that's why there's a problem.
yeah, that's right.
What you listening to?
Yeah, yeah.
Gandalf's up
Well,
in here.
you know
He's
what?
saying, hey.
Just one more thing, like the biggest thing that I always tell my clients, it's like one of the 5 steps in the book that I wrote, and I'm still working on it, but
Oh,
one of the biggest things that I always tell my clients is that you really have to let go of the past. And since we're talking about past relationships, um one of the things about being haunted by a past relationship is when you can't let go of the past. And so I find a lot of people hold on to stuff from their past relationships. If you're holding on to anything, whether it's like a gift that an ex gave you, or like a t-shirt, or uh movie stubs, or love letters, or anything like sentimental. I'm a very sentimental person, and I hold on to everything, like everything.
yeah.
But don't hold on to stuff from past relationships
Yeah.
unless it's your child.
That's what I was about to say. A picture with the kid in it stays.
Your child, your
Yeah.
children is the only thing you can get sentimental over. Everything else has to go.
Yeah.
Even wedding rings, engagement rings. If
How do
you're
you
divorced,
give
like,
advice? Like what
get
kind of
rid of it.
advice? How do you release some of these things? What kind of advice would you give? Like meditations or like
Yeah, you can go through like a full moon release ritual. I like to get a cauldron and burn it.
yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Burn it. Obviously some things don't burn. You throw it away.
Yeah.
You can sell things that are valuable. Like if you have engagement rings, wedding rings, sell them. Like they're valuable.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I just would not, or if you want to, obviously if they're like family heirlooms, you want to pass it to your children.
Right,
That's
right. Yeah.
that's different. But yeah, don't hold on to stuff because there is like energetic attachment there. And that is really blocking you from your current partner or potential future partners.
Okay.
So I really encourage my clients and people that I talk to whenever you enter a new relationship, please like discard the past. Um, the letters and your memories will always be there.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to forget. Um, and you don't have to like get rid of your journals. That's okay. But like love letters, cards,
Yeah.
rid of it. You
Sentimental
don't.
stuff.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
you
what
don't have
advice do you give if your partner is holding on to stuff like that?
you don't see it. It's not in your space.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's not under your control. It's not like you can go into their home and take it. So
No.
yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that, really.
Right.
Yeah. That's breaking and entering. We don't do that.
Well, no, but I'm just
She was
saying,
being
I mean,
like
what do you-
metaphoric and you're being literal. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're
I love
saying, but yeah, that's they're holding on to that energy, but you're letting it go. So
Right.
yeah.
Oh, you mean the person
Well,
you're with
they're
now,
nice.
Misty, or the person like you're talking about?
Oh,
Like,
I thought you were talking
your
about the
relationship.
ex.
I
Like
think she
you're
means the one you
No,
just
no, no, no.
relationship.
I'm talking about if you're with somebody and they're holding on to
oh
stuff from their past and you're with them.
oh, you need to encourage them to get rid of it.
Like, what ways
Yeah.
could you do that?
Can you throw that stuff out?
Yeah.
I,
No, I
I'm
meant
very
like the
direct.
emotional stuff. The
I don't
emotional.
know. It's just a
Oh.
question. I didn't say it was going on. I'm just saying, if
Burn
it's
it.
the other way
I'll
around.
burn it for you. She's going
Yeah.
down. She's too.
That's funny. That's funny. That's funny because I was dating this guy and he was telling me it's so funny. He was telling me a story that he he hooked up with some woman and like the first night she slept over, he had to go to work, so he let her stay,
Oh,
in the
gosh.
morning and was just like, oh yeah, just lock up when you leave and whatever. And he came home and found out that she had like cleaned out photos of like um stuff that he'd kept of like other women,
Oh, I thought
mementos,
you were going to say she cleaned out his
cards.
house just as
Yeah, I
personal.
did
No, no,
too.
no. Like
Wow.
he had saved like gifts that, other women had given him, like sentimental things, like in
Oh,
his nightstand, stuff, personal stuff, letters and
yeah.
like
Yeah.
cards. And, it was obviously like love, related.
Yeah.
And she threw it out,
Mm.
and they'd been on one day, and I was like, that'll teach you to hook up with somebody.
Yeah, really.
Careful. Take your time. Walkie through the park.
Mhm.
Walk through the park a lot.
And I was just
How crazy
and I
you're
was
getting.
and I was just like, yeah, how do you let a stranger like in your house and just not even,
I guess he
you
does
don't
it
even
a
know who they
lot.
are? Yeah.
I don't know if that's weird.
So I was like, you're very trusting. Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, that just made me think of that. That's
That's
pretty
really
It is
random.
funny.
crazy, man.
Pretty
Yeah, he
random,
has
but
some
yeah.
triggers too. As someone, what do you do with that
Yeah.
person? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Looks like they both got issues.
yeah.
Right? Yeah, that sounds like, I don't think I could like go into someone's house and throw away their things, even if it's in their best interest.
I know,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
He was holding on to too much stuff, obviously, but yeah.
So, Misty, do you have any other questions for Jennifer about this topic or anything you can think of?
Well, I'm just, wondering, you said you could try to help the other person get rid of some stuff, but I
Yeah.
mean, do you think that it means that they're still holding on to their past if they still have this kind of stuff around?
I don't think that they're like intending or like, they may even you know, really like the guy in my example, I don't think he was like really pining over women in his past or like really intending to like hold on to them energetically. But in a sense he's kind of like blocking the energetic flow of allowing new people into his life.
Yes.
So yeah, I would encourage the partner to like, do you really need these things? I would have a talk, like,
Yeah.
what are you getting out of this? Like, why do you need these things? That's in the past. And, um, not that it bothers you that you have it. It's just that, you don't need it. And
Yeah.
like, it's really like energetically blocking, the current love from you being able to receive it.
Yeah.
There's a really good book by Denise Lynn. It's called Energy Strands, I think.
Mhm.
And she goes through all these different ways of clearing your energy,
Oh,
in your home, in your personal like energetic field. And there's just all these different ways of like cutting cords and clearing energy.
yes.
So there's obviously like different methods to clear energy, but there's inviting white light down, like I said, there's burning things, and
Mhm.
asking angels to
It's a
cut the cords.
process. I
And
think it's a
yeah,
process. I
yeah,
really do. To
Yeah,
get
I
to where you
agree.
don't even think about someone anymore or something
Mhm.
like that. It's a process. You have to like quitting smoking, pop the band-aid every time you think about a cigarette.
and
Oops,
and,
oh,
and
I just
it's
broke
and
my
it's
bracelet.
oh no, oh no.
Cigarette, I guess. I don't know.
and it's
Mhm.
and it's different for different people. Sometimes people find it very hard to let go of someone, and some people take months, and other people it's days, like, okay, I'm over it. So it's different for different people.
Yeah, it is.
And some people are like, oh, I'm never going to forget my first love. And it's true, you're never going to forget that person, but it doesn't mean you have to hold on to the letter that they wrote you when you're 16.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
If it's
Yeah.
gonna make someone feel bad that you have that as well, and you don't throw it out, that says a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, do you really want to
Like,
make
let's say
your
your wife finds your first love's love letter after
yeah,
the day after you first made sweet, sweet love, and of course he kept
yeah.
it or something. And because he wanted to remember his first time or something. I don't know. He kept it and she finds it and you've been together 3 years or something, maybe she's got something to say. Why do you have this? Maybe she's cool with it. I don't know. But why, if she was to go to him or she were to go to him and say, this makes me feel kind of weird, he better have a good reason or get rid of it. Yeah. For her feelings, if she's more important than his memory, you know?
Women are a lot more sentimental than men. I'd be very challenged to see a
True.
man holding on to stuff than a woman. But like I said, that man told me that story
I know
about,
men hold on to
and I
objects
was
more than women
shocked.
do.
Yeah, I was shocked
Yeah.
that he had all that stuff. I was like, wow, I
Yeah.
didn't even
Men will
realize
hold on to
men hold on to
objects.
things like that. Yeah.
They're very physically, they're taught that not to feel too much. So the objects can be the thought, like the symbol of how they felt at that
Okay.
time. That's what I think. That's how I think of like a lot of men are taught that, at least in our
That
generation.
makes
They're
sense.
not so much. Like my
Yeah,
kids'
yeah.
generation, not so much. But most of the men in my generation are older. They just never they've never learned how to express their feelings ever. Men who are, had like heterosexual dating women.
I was looking at Valentine's Day cards for my boyfriend, and one of them that seems to be popular is one that says, um, someday you'll find this card in a drawer and we'll still be in love.
Oh,
I
that's the
like that.
best. I love
Well,
that.
and it's funny, like, because people do save cards and they
Hmm.
just,
I do, yeah.
Mhm.
hold on to them. And I guess with the, fast pace of our lives and all of these things, do people really send greeting cards anymore? We don't mail them
Misty
as much,
does.
right? Yeah.
Oh, I
I
do.
I like them, and I like to give them and whatever. But yeah, it just made me think like, oh yeah, it will still be in a drawer and hopefully we will still be in love. And
And
I
you'll
don't know.
find it and cry.
I don't even know if he saves the cards that I give him, but
Yeah,
I save the
seems like he
cards that he
does.
gives me.
I bet your guy
Um,
does. And I bet every guy who's ever
that's
dated you
interesting. I don't know. Yeah,
has.
but you're right. I do think men probably do save cards like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah.
Especially with any emotions written in them or any kind of sexual stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of men, that's their
Sexual stuff.
expression. Well, it's their expression of how much she loved them. That's how
Yeah,
they
yeah.
that's how they are. So a lot of men, they express
Right.
themselves sexually with their body. If it's not sexual, then it's a hug or they're
Mm-hmm.
touching. Men are they don't know how to talk about themselves, their feelings. They're told not to
Right.
in our
Right.
generation anyway.
And that's why Playboy is so popular.
They're always
definitely.
reading for those good conversations.
Yeah.
Good conversation.
And to get their emotions out.
Yeah.
Get their emotions out.
Out. And on that note,
And other
Jennifer, where can
things.
listeners find you? She's been here a million times, but we haven't done this since like 4 shows ago. Where can
Couple
listeners?
months. Oh, I'm at jenniferlove.me. Yep.
That's where you go. And you can
All
find
the
her on
time.
Instagram, on Everclear, and everywhere, actually. You just think
Everywhere.
about her and she's there, like spirit or an
Yep.
angel. And Misty, well, I want to thank Everclear. Speaking of Everclear, Everclear is our sponsor. Is an advice website and app where you can get advice from psychics and empaths, so you can get the clarity you need to create the life you deserve. And I am an advisor on there under Lisa Leesap, letter P, and Jennifer is under there under Jennifer Love or Jennifer L.
Jennifer L.
Jennifer L. I'll put all of her stuff in the description of the podcast, listeners. And Misty, thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Jennifer, thank you.
Thank you. It was
And
fun.
listeners, we love you. Thank you so much. And burn all that stuff.
Burn it.
Or don't leave them. I know. We love you.
Don't take it.
Yeah. I'm gonna do some like kind of bath tonight. I think like a purification bath or something, and just kind of get some energy off me.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, that's good.
And if you don't know what a purification bath is, it's like whatever you think would purify your mood. You put in water and you soak in it. I use essential oils.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for listening, and have a great time wherever you may be. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.